Bill Moyers died 2 months ago. He was the press secretary for LBJ and also an esteemed journalist. I didn't do a video about it when it happened because I don't really like to cover deaths. I feel like if I wasn't talking about you while you were alive, then there's no point in, using your passing as an excuse to, make content or to talk about something for a day or a few days. But after his death, I was with one of my relatives, and this relative, they watch the news regularly. They have stuff on their TV just kind of playing, and it flashed on the screen apparently at some point that he had died. But what I thought was so interesting is that he, for the life of him, could not recall his name. He knew there was some White House press secretary that had passed, but he just couldn't remember his name. He was talking about Gerbins and just making up crap to fill in the blank. And I thought it was so interesting how, him being someone from his era, right, persons in their 80s, you almost would say, oh, maybe it's because of their age. It's like, no, they're able to recall like things that happened a few years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But for me, it's one of those things where I feel like if you can't remember who it was, like you just can't recall their name, like why even bring it up anyway? Because when you mention it to this person, you're clearly trying to have some type of, conversation or dialogue about it, but then you don't even recall the moniker of the person that you're trying to talk about them with, which is what was even more comedic. Just if you can't even remember who it was, why bring it up at all? No, Moyers was definitely one of the most interesting people around Johnson. I would say of any of the press secretaries, just out of all of them, besides maybe Huckabee Sanders because she became, governor of Arkansas, he probably was the most accomplished press secretary, just like following what they did after that. So he's someone I definitely would want to talk about, more than now. It's just I found this really interesting, just how people they'll recall something in like these very vague terms, but when it comes to actually being able to go, yeah, it was that person, they just can't do it.